Hey guys, Digital Sticks here, and today I'm going to show you real quick, and there may be some more attention coming to this soon, but this is the current SteamVR Beta, and I'm using the headset window, but it's got new features for, okay, so it's close. I'm not sure what's failed to run. Anyways, it has new features for the settings. We've got all these settings now inside SteamVR, available in VR view, as well as the same menu for desktop access. As you can see here, you can adjust at least with the index, you can adjust your resolution on the fly. You can adjust your frame rate on the fly. And I did this while in game with VRchat, and it still seemed to function. Definitely started off with VRchat. I was able to tweak my settings and improve my performance to reduce my frame drops for like the Void Club. And it didn't seem to pay off as much a little bit later on. Of course, VRchat kind of has its own issues, and then I hear that Unity itself has issues and memory leaks and whatever else. So, it's a tough game to get good frame rates, and it's not just GPU issues. But still, this was definitely helpful. And I don't know how many of these features are available for the Vive. Obviously, the Vive only has a 90 megahertz refresh rate. I don't know if they would give you the option to drop it to 80 or if that's even an option, but the resolution should adjust the same. I know this won't affect these settings here. Some of these, at least not all of these settings will be available if you're using a Windows mixed reality device or an Oculus device. Anything that's not natively supported by SteamVR is not going to be affected by these hardware settings. So it's a nice added benefit to certainly to the index, and like I said, I think some of this may apply to the Vive as well. It definitely seemed to help, but it's incredible actually. Before, changing super sampling meant restarting your device, and when the index, up till now, for the index, changing your refresh rate also meant restarting the device. And I'm still experimenting. There's some trade-offs to be toyed with. If dropping to the reprojection is unavoidable, then attempting a 120 megahertz refresh rate or 120 frames per second, same difference, means that your reprojection rate is at 60 frames per second, as opposed to trying for 90 and then dropping to 45. So it really depends on how bad you're dropping. And someone suggested, and I've actually seemed to have it hold true for myself as well, that by running 120 frames in VRchat, you'll end up being at the 60 frames reprojection more often, which would be better than about the same amount of time you would have been at 45 frames reprojection at a 90 frames per second rate. And so it makes sense, because basically if you're not going to hit your 120 frames, I'm not sure what the threshold is, but if it's going to come short of that, it's going to drop to the 60 reprojection. If you're not going to hit your 90, it's going to drop to 45 reprojection. So it really depends on by how much you're missing your target frame rate at. And you may actually do better with the 120, even though you're not going to hit it, to get 60 reprojection than you would have trying for 90, which you might hit more often, but still be at 45 reprojection more often too. So if you understand these things, then you understand what this functionality gives you. The ability to experiment in real time while running a game like VRchat. And you can obviously experiment with any game, but VRchat, the big bonus here is if you're, for example, if I'm in the hub with very low poly and not much going on, especially pretty much any cross-play quest world for the most part, it's going to be a perfect world to have the ability to crank your super sampling up and your frame rate up, and just really enjoy all the eye candy you can get out of it, because it's not going to hit your PC very hard. But then you go into a place like the Void Club, especially with a crowd, and you're going to want to, you can find that medium between avoiding lag and having acceptable resolution. So I dropped this down to like 50%, and it was certainly acceptable, and it's well worth having the lower resolution rather than lag. But it wasn't perfect, and like I said, it seemed to work better at first than it did later on, and I didn't really do any solid I didn't very carefully analyze how many people were in at any one time, but the world was pretty much crowded most of the time. It was, so anyways, there we go. I'm sharing my impressions from it. It needs more attention, and that's why I'm sharing this. So definitely, if people don't know about it, if you switch to the SteamVR Beta branch, check this out. It seems to be working well. I would think, I don't know what their time frame is for going to their official branch, but this looks like this should not be too far away. And I just now discovered that this can scroll, or else I missed an additional update. So interesting. Okay, so these were all defaulted, nothing new, but it scrolls, so there was more features. And these features are hidden under advanced settings. Oh, that is the advanced settings. Okay, so not too special. Anyways, there you go. It's a new UI. It works pretty good. And I can't remember what the other changes were. They're not as dramatic as that. That UI seems to be working great. So thanks for watching. And please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll just share the little things I find, impressions I get, and it's just helpful additional information. But I'm not really, and I've said this before, I'm not attempting to be the new go-to review guy for everything. It's just not my cup of tea, and there's already plenty of people doing that. So just add some more real-world perspective and share what I know, and hopefully that's beneficial to some people. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.